Hey, what's up, family? How y'all doing today? It's your brother Kevin Brown. Your sister Davina is here. And I got a question for you all. Have you ever felt like if you was to stop pushing, planning, or trying to fix everything, you might miss your husband?
Mm-hmm. I know that feeling. Because if we're being honest, most of us women, we're not trying to be rebellious. We're not trying to go before God. But if we're being honest, the striving comes from a place of us being afraid. Like, if we're being honest, afraid of, when I say afraid, these are the thoughts that sometimes come to you. Like, if I stop trying, does that mean that I'm going to miss him? Or what if this is my window and I'm not doing enough? Like, if this is my window of opportunity and I'm not doing enough, I'm going to miss him. If you've ever thought those thoughts, then this video potentially is for you.
Yeah. Because, sometimes, how I my talk, if y'all know right now, that type of pressure, that urgency is really not how God leads. He leads with peace. He leads with peace, family.
Because, like, I would say this, most of us aren't afraid of the waiting period, as it were. We're kind of afraid that we're going to miss God by resting, meaning I'm not doing enough. I don't see enough movement here. So I need to do something to make something happen. And because of that fear, even though we may not recognize it as fear, it's actually it's quietly driving the effort of why we feel we need to do so much to help God out.
Yeah. Do we actually need to help God?
And that's the question we need to ask ourselves. Do we actually need to help God? And the stuff that we're doing, is it actually helping God, right? Because it often says like, look, I need to do something. Time is running out. If I don't help God get this thing started or move along, nothing's going to happen. And then the whole thing with comparison, you begin looking at other people and it's like, well, they're moving ahead. They're getting this, they're getting that, but I'm still here. Why am I still here? And now it's like fear begins to, the fear becomes the motivation because it now feels like there's a level of urgency that needs to happen. And the thing about it is when we're doing this, it doesn't feel like it's wrong. In fact, in some cases, it feels like the responsible thing to do. Like you need to do something. You can't just sit there and do nothing. You need to be proactive in this area. So it feels responsible. But the question that we're asking today, is that responsible?
Yeah.
But when Kevin and I were looking at this and we began to just assess, we realized that actually God wants us to adopt a different posture, meaning he wants us to be obedient and trust, but obedience and trust doesn't come from a place of panic and fear and trying to do something. It actually comes from a place of you saying, you know what, Lord, I'm not actually going to move until you move. I know that you are the master of time, so therefore I don't need to force time in. One of the things is, that really helps myself and Kevin is that, you know what, God's not sitting up in heaven anxious. He's not having anxious thoughts about the future.
Not at all.
He's not like, oh gosh, if this doesn't happen by this time, what are we going to do? And so if God's not anxious about our future, he's not anxious about your future, then the question you need to ask yourself is, why are you anxious? Like God's not anxious, so why are you anxious? And so that's an invitation to almost say, you know what, I'm going to allow God's peace to lead me because that's where he wants us to be. He wants us to be led by way of his peace. That is our trust,
Yeah. That is the trust. I just, how when God says, peace, be still, when he's telling you to be still and stuff like that, he's not telling you to like shut down on your life. He's not telling you to do that. He ain't telling you to start suppressing all those feelings that you're having. And he's not telling you don't do nothing. It doesn't mean that you have to be passive or anything like that. It doesn't mean don't interact, don't do anything, don't have any activities going on. It don't mean any of that stuff, right? What he mean is, know that I'm God. Know that I'm God, right? He said, see, I looked up like being still. What does it mean? Being still. So I looked in Psalms 46, Psalm 46:10, right? He says, be still and know that I'm God, right? As I was looking up what it means to be still, because it says it to, be still and know that I'm God, right? So I was looking up, and it being still means to stop all the striving, right? Stop striving, like let it go. And I remember he told me before, when I was previous marriage, he told me to let it go, to let go. Meaning I was holding on to this thing. I was not in the act of being still. So he was trying to tell me, be still and know that I'm God. Let it go. So that means to let that thing go, right? To release control. Because we always want to control our situations. But he's like, you don't have to have control over it. He's like, stop. Release the control and give it to me. Mm-hmm. Give me the control, right? Stand down from your self-effort. Just let that thing go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Just stop. Let that thing go and let God do what he gonna do.
Yeah, because we were even listening to somebody today, and one of the verses that he took us to was 1 Peter 5 verse 7. And he was like, cast your cares on me because I care for you. And one of the things is like, and it's a really good point, for us to appreciate and stop and ask ourselves, do we truly believe that God cares about us? Because sometimes we're behaving as though God doesn't care about us. And it kind of shows in how we are led through panic and fear and worry when we have to determine the outcome of something, but we're not willing to actually be obedient in terms of casting the care on God, knowing that he's got it, knowing that he is faithful, and knowing that he knows our future. And so sometimes if we're being honest with ourselves, we torment ourselves and we find ourselves in a place where it's like we are striving to the point of exhaustion because we haven't yet believed that God cares that deeply about us, and it may not even feel that way on the surface, but when we begin to, just look at it through the layers and stuff, we can actually see that maybe I'm struggling to believe that God has his best interests at heart for me. And that might be one of the areas, right? And so it just helps us to see where we can actually lay stuff down, because if we truly believed that God has got this thing taken care of, why are we striving? Like we said before, if God's not having anxious thoughts, why am I over here having anxious thoughts about my future?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that to ourselves?
That's a good question, because it's like I explained some stuff. We did this Saturday reset, and I was trying to explain some things, and I did in previous videos about taking the garbage and keeping it from the garbage man, whatever. I believe it was another video. I don't know what it was, but it's like when Davina just said we're beating up ourselves. Why are we taking the bat and hitting ourselves across the head? I'm telling you, I was guilty of that too. I'm telling you, I was guilty of that too. I really was guilty of that until God freed me from that. I mean, he literally healed me. And the reason why he healed me and how he healed me, I learned to be still. You know what? Being still means I'm no longer trying to make something happen. I was trying to keep a marriage that was not going to stay, that was not going to last. And he was like, let it go. Let it go. But now I'm like, I am fully available to respond if God speak to me. I became so engulfed in him to where when I heard him, I moved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that brings us to a point, right? Because Kevin and I, again, were just talking about it. And the thought that came to me was simply the children of Israel in the wilderness. Because sometimes we can think be still means do nothing. And that's not the case. But I was thinking about the children of Israel in the wilderness and how God led them with the cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night, right? But one of the things he said to them was that when the cloud moves, you move. And when the pillar of fire moves, you move. But if it stays still, like you stay. And so the thing about it is, we know that they were in the wilderness for 40 years, right? And so they were moving and what have you. But each period of time that they stayed there wasn't the same. Some days it may have been a couple of days that they stayed there. Other times it might have been weeks. Other times it might have been months. Other times it may have been years before the cloud got up and moved. But the thing is, they were doing their day-to-day life. They were living their day-to-day life. But they lived in anticipation of seeing the cloud move or the pillar of fire moving. So meaning that they were prepped and ready. So the thing about it is, it's not that when the cloud moved, everything miraculously moved with the cloud. They still had to pack their stuff up. They still had to pack up their family, pack up their animals. Mm-hmm. There still had to be some level of activity that was happening, but they never moved until God said, move. Mm-hmm. And this is what he's saying to us. He's like, be still and know that I am God. Like, move when I tell you to move. And the interesting thing is when he told Israel that, in terms of when they got to the Red Sea and it looked like they had been hemmed in, and he said, be still and know, there was a sense of panic that was trying to get them to do something, to respond to their environment, to the circumstances, to the situation. But in that, God said, no, remember that I am with you, right? I know you see the walls, the mountains on both sides. I know you see a sea that you can't pass. I know you see Pharaoh's army coming behind you. There's a huge dust cloud. They're coming for you. I know you see that, but know that I am with you, right? And so therefore, I'm not just gonna leave you here. Don't allow panic to cause you to make your decisions. And he's saying the same thing to us now, because some of us are making decisions about our future because of external things that are causing us to panic, to be afraid, to be worryful. Like, it may be something like, I don't know, your age. It may be the timing. It may be your past, and you're looking at things and you're like, oh, but this and this happened, whatever. It may even be comparison. Like, you're looking at somebody else and saying, well, they're advancing, they're doing this, they're doing that. And yet it feels like I'm doing nothing. But one of the things that we've realized and we're realizing is that God knows where you are. Mm-hmm. He knows where you are. He knew where the children of Israel was. Why? He was with them. He never left them. He didn't take his eyes off them. And he hasn't taken his eyes off of you. So this is our assurance. This is our peace when we think about it, like when we're considering all these things. And so when the thought comes to suggest to you, like, I'm going to miss my husband if I don't do something. Actually, that is a perfect picture to realize that God's inviting you into a place of rest, not striving, not doing more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, rest is trusting God with the outcome. It's not doing it on your own. It's not saying, you know what? It's straight up about trust. Mm-hmm. It's straight up about trust.
Yeah.
You know.
And the thing about it is, with the children of Israel, God didn't rush them. He didn't explain the schedule either. Like, it wasn't like he said, you're going to be 3 months here. I'm going to move you over there. And then you're going to be there for 2 years. So it's okay. You can settle down and do whatever, because in 2 years' time, I'm going to come back. And then it's like, I'm going to move you here. And he didn't tell them anything. He just said, be prepared to hear me. Be prepared to see when I move. And the moment I move, you move. But if I stay, you stay. And he's saying the same thing to us now. He's like, I know where you are. I know your age. I know what you've experienced. I know everything about you. But you don't have to move until I tell you. Until I tell you. And that was basically our story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, even though, different situations and scenarios before we met each other, I had in my mind that I was going to be doing something, and I was striving like nobody's business to try and make something happen that he hadn't told me to happen. He's like, I never told you to move. I didn't tell you was moving anywhere. Who told you you're moving to America? I didn't tell you that. You're making this stuff up. And so I was trying to hold on to something to try and make something work. And he's like, no, the cloud is still. Why are you trying to move ahead of the cloud and the cloud hasn't moved? Mm-hmm. And then here was Kevin trying to hold on to something, mm-hmm. and he's like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. I've moved.
Yeah, where you at? The cloud, I'm still looking up. He's like, no, the cloud didn't move. Where are you still? Why are you still here? Let's go.
Get moving. So it's like, this is what we're trying to show you. God knows. And so when the suggestion comes to say that you're going to miss something, how? God knows where you're at. He knows what's going on with you.
Yeah, he really does, And it's all about, being submissive to God's timing. Just submit to his timing. Not our own, not what we thinking, not what we say how he should be moving. It's not us leading him, it's him leading us. We have to go when he say go. We have to move when he say move. And if he tells us to be still, that means be still and trust him in your stillness. Don't try to make things happen because nothing you see moving, nothing just because we don't see it moving, that don't mean anything ain't happening. He's like, okay, now let's go ahead and move on. When I'm telling you, when it's time to move on, it's time to move on. It's almost like night and day. You ain't finna move out and start doing stuff in the nighttime that you do it in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna wait till the daytime come, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when you start doing stuff for the daytime. You don't do stuff in the daytime, but you do at night, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So you wait for the sun to come up.
Yeah. And we even I think we spoke about it anyway on like a previous video about internal striving and external striving, and how even when you may not look like you're striving externally, there's still this internal striving. Why? Because you haven't yet found peace. Yeah. Like when you think about your future, there's still anxiety trying to rise up on the inside of you. Like, again, the voice that says it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work for me. And even though you may be holding it all together on the outside, your insides have nowhere to settle. It's like inside everything just feels so unstable. And that again is an indication of that we haven't yet cast the care on him concerning our futures. Like we have to know. It's not just a light saying or a light suggestion. We have to know that he knows the plans that he has for us. Plans to prosper us and not harm us and bring us to an expected end. We have to know that he has nothing but good intentions towards us. We have to know this, because if we don't know, there's going to be room for you to be stressed on the inside, which eventually is going to reveal itself on the outside. But when we can truly just hand it over and say, you know what, Holy Ghost, I know what you have for me is good. I trust your timing. I trust you. I trust your nature. I trust your character. Therefore, I choose to rest in you. Everything begins to settle. It's almost like we might read it and be like, how was Jesus able to fall asleep on the back of a boat in the middle of a storm?
Right.
Because he knew his future was secure in the Father. He was unfazed by the storm. And I believe that's where Jesus has invited us into, He's like, this is how you do it. You know what God has said. You rest in that. And even though the storm may be raging, even though you may be getting older, even though you may see how many other people, your younger cousins and relatives and whatever, rising up and having families and children, and you're like, what about me? Know that God sees you. Know that he has already spoken into your destiny. This thing has already been taken care of. And allow yourself to rest in that. Allow yourself to rest in that. Because this is where the breakthrough is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is where the breakthrough is truly going to happen.
Yeah. That's so true. While you sitting here, well, let's just say while we sitting here in our stillnesses, right? And when we need to stop asking, what should I do next? And really start asking the Lord, God, what are you saying right now? What are you saying to me right now? That's straight up heart posture and being ready and being prepared. Because we're not saying stop wanting the marriage, not stop wanting the promotion, not stop wanting your business to grow, we're not telling you to stop living. We ain't telling you to stop preparing, because the children of Israel still had to prepare the tents, get all the kids ready, get all the older folks ready, get everything ready. They still had to do that because they had to move everything, right? It's a constant packing. But it's also this not deciding to move ahead of God.
Yeah.
It's not acting just to relieve some anxiety that you got to do something. I got to do something. You know, it's not the silent part. Don't take that as rejection. I remember I said this to somebody. You know, his nose is not trying to stop your life. It's to redirect you to something more beautiful in what he had planned for you. So that's what it is. It's like, I'm going to listen. God, I'm going to be still. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to obey you. I'm going to move when you say move. And it's not going to be from pressure. It's going to be from peace. And the peace that you leave me, the peace you have given me, I'm going to move on that. That's where I'm going. I'm going with that, because peace is going to be the thing you got to sit on. That's what you got to sit in, that peace. And that peace is what's going to help you move when God tell you, and you'll be able to hear him in that peace, because it's going to be that calmness. Mm-hmm. You want to move in that calmness.
Mm-hmm. I just want to go back to the whole no thing. Can you just explain that a bit again? Because I think when you was talking about it with this person, it was like, it was so cool, because, you know, oftentimes we look at a no, especially a no from God, and it's almost like, why do you keep telling me no? It's almost like, frustrating. It can lead to like frustration. But actually, when you look at it through the eyes of knowing how much he loves you and his intentions towards you, the no actually becomes a beautiful thing. Like, I think you explained it. Can you explain it again?
So the no, when God telling you no, you asking him something, and you asking him, I want this, I want that, or whatever it may be, and you keep going to God, he keep telling you no. His no is not telling you no as a demand. No, you will not have it. Some of them are. Okay, some of them are like no, straight up no. But that no should bring you joy, because the no is telling you that ain't for you. I got something that ain't for you. No, because that's not for you. Just imagine taking, I think I explained this. Imagine taking yourself or your hand and trying to put it on a fire. You know you're going to get burned. That's like a kid. You know the kid going to get burned. So you telling that kid, no, do not do that, because you're going to hurt yourself. And that's what he's saying to you. No, because it's not going to end well for you. It's not going to work out for you, and that is not what I have planned for you. No, take that and say, you know what? Thank you so much, Lord, for helping me. Thank you for directing me. Thank you for telling me no, because that's not for me. You now being redirected. Because if you hear him say no to you, that means you start to be preparing for a yes, Lord. You should be preparing for the next direction. Not, why? That's not it. That's not the attitude. That's not it.
Yeah.
It's the yes, Lord. Thank you so much. So what's now? What should we be? What would you like for me to work in the area with you now? What's next for us, Lord? Let's do this. Let's do this thing. Mm-hmm. It should be joy coming. It should be joy, because he helped you. He redirected you to something else that's so much better.
Yeah. And I think he simplified. He managed to simplify your life through the no. Mm-hmm. Because in that no, he's showing you, no, that's a dead end, that ain't for you. Which means that is an avenue that's now been cut off. And so now your pathway has been simplified, because it's like he's taking care of the stuff that would have just complicated the journey. But actually, it doesn't need to be complicated now, because that's severed. Now, as Kevin just said, now you can focus on the thing that he wants you to focus on. It's like, okay, Lord, what should I be looking at now? What should I be focusing on now? And then let him lead you in that direction. And it becomes fun in him, mm-hmm. because it's like, that's refreshing. I don't have to waste my time there. I can put my energy into this thing instead. And then, and you begin to roll and just have fun with him. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And having fun with him is amazing. It is amazing. You know, we talking about some things here. We got some comments and stuff like that. Somebody said about doing enough. Am I doing enough? What is that? Am I doing enough? He said to believe. That's enough right there. That's enough right there. And that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do is to believe and trust him. Let's check our hearts. Let's check our hearts. Okay. Let's say, am I being still? Am I being still? And you can look at that. You can look and say, am I being still? Because the attitude adjustment will happen. Everything else will happen. And you'll know if you're being still or not. Because that trust will start happening. Then you'll start having peace. just listen for him. Listen for him to give you that direction. All right?
Yeah. So just to sum this whole video up, basically is this. It's like you won't miss what God is orchestrating. You won't miss what God is orchestrating, but you can exhaust yourself if you're trying to control the outcome of everything.
Yeah. Move the cloud, family.
Move with the cloud.
Not the clock.
Not the clock.
Move with the cloud and not the clock. Because that timer thing, that time man, he will get you every time.
Every single time.
Yeah. You know what, family? That's one of the things we have the circle for. We create the Wednesday Circle. It's a space where, we learn how to hear God without any pressure and without fear, without anxiety, without any of those things. We learn to hear from God.
Yeah, and not only are we hearing from God, we're actually being transformed by his leading, by his guidance, and just, learning to hear from him and just follow his lead. And I'm telling you, when we do that, he's going to lead us into all things amazing. All things amazing. So that's what we do in the circle.
That's what we do.
We talk about these things, and we're seeing breakthroughs.
Ooh, yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So if you want breakthrough in your life, and you're tired of like striving, carrying the weight of everything, check out the Wednesday Circle. The link's in the description, and would love to see you in the circle. The ladies would love to see you in the circle.
Yeah, our family. All right, family. We'll see you guys in the next video.
All right.
Peace.
Love you. Bye.